Welcome to Dream Big and Succeed with Sunday Ezekiel. And thank you for joining me today. And also, I want to appreciate you for watching our previous episodes. And today, our focus is on problem solving guidelines. How do you solve your problems? Please understand that problems are not really problems. Problems are what you call it. For instance, if you're having some issues in managing your finances, it is seen as a challenge or a problem. So you need to know how to solve that problem. Or you're having some challenges with your business setup or with the accounting aspect of your business. It is a challenge area in your business that you need to find solution to. So when we talk about problem, we are actually looking at what we need to do to get better results in our businesses, in our career, in our family. All right. Now, what are these guidelines for problem solving, especially for leaders and for businesses? Number one is what I call problem exploration. Problem exploration. That is, state what the problem is. This will include a written description of the problem in the clearest way it can be and in the clearest way you can put it. Restate the problem in entirely different words or in a completely different way. The purpose of this process is to break the problem away from confusing or restricting verbal maps of it so that the problem in itself can be isolated. Okay? Now, state the problem more generally or more broadly. Put it abstractly or even philosophically. Now, the purpose is to find out whether the given wording of the problem is really only a specific statement or a more general problem. This point simply means that put that issue on paper, write it down, write the challenge on paper, and make sure you write it as clearly as you can so that you will begin to know what to do. You will know exactly what next step to take after you have written it down. Now, the second point is clarify the problem. Define the key terms of the problem. This kind of definition allows the breaking of the problem into attributes, components, and general features. The result is to shake loose some possible solutions. Okay? Part of this is also to clarify or to clearly express the assumptions being made about the problem and to describe the way a solution will have to work. Assumptions can be tricky because they tend to be automatic and submerged, not consciously made. You need to gather needed information, research into past approaches of the problem or to similar problems will help you get new ideas as well as gain understanding of the nature and environment of the problem itself. This is important. Okay, the third point we're looking at is explain the problem. Discuss the problem with someone else. This is important. You see, explain it carefully. Listen to your own explanation carefully. Listen to your own explanation of the problem. Discussion has two important features. First, there is the possibility that you will find a solution in the head of another person by getting information, suggestions, and ideas. Secondly, discussing your problem with someone else allows you to see what you really think. People think and work out ideas as they talk. You see, you do not really know what you think until you consciously verbalize it. So when you are discussing it, you are verbalizing it. And then as you are saying it, you are really getting to know how to go about it. Francis Bacon once noted, one value of friendship was to have someone to talk to so that you can see how your ideas look when they are turned into words. Can you see that? Now, look at the problem from different viewpoints. How would different people look at it? By imaginatively taking on the viewpoint of various other people affected by a particular problem, you can sometimes discover solutions that you as yourself would never think of. This is important. That's why it's important that you ask series of whys. By asking why of every statement of the problem, possible solutions or identified goals, clearer definitions will be made. Asking why can serve a purpose similar to that of broadening the definition of the problem and can lead to new ways of looking at the problem and at possible solutions. Okay? Now, the fourth point is put the problem in context. Very important. What is the history of the problem? Knowing where it came from can help focus your efforts towards a solution to try or away from a solution not to try. You see that? Now, what is the problem environment? That's another question to ask. What are the surrounding contexts? Are there associative factors that helped cause or perpetuate the problem? It's a very good question you need to ask. Have there been similar problems and solutions that may be useful in solving this one? Very important question to ask too. An understanding of contributing or perpetuating factors will help you to take steps to prevent a problem from coming right back once you solve it. Another question to ask is this: what are the constraints? What limitations are imposed? What is required? What must be observed in solving the problems? This is pretty straightforward. Okay? Now let's look at the fifth point: goal establishment. Establishment of goals. Consider ideal goals. We too often set our goals as the solving of the immediate problem or the minimum solution rather than considering how we would like reality to be ideally. When we establish practical goals, we are set to get solution to the problem. What are the goals to be achieved that will make this problem to be declared solved? Very important question to ask. He said the listing of definite and precise goals is useful in problem solving because the attempt at solving can then be measured against the goals to see how much progress is being made. See that? So we need to establish a goal concerning the problem. The goal is to solve problem. Now, in other words, you need to have a goal in mind of how the solution will look like. When you have that in mind, you'll be able to measure the solution with the goal you set to know whether you have actually solved the problem. Okay? The sixth point we're looking at is what I call idea generation. Generate ideas for possible solutions. In this aspect, you have to read, you have to research, you have to think, you have to ask questions and discuss. Look for ideas and solutions. Begin with a period of information gathering and mental simulation. You see, knowledge is power. Get facts. Learn as much as you can about the problem. Use idea generation techniques such as brainstorming, forced relationships, random simulation, and so on to generate large number of ideas of all kinds so that you will have a good selection to choose from, adapt, or stimulate other ideas. Very important. And then the next point, which is the seventh point we're looking at, is idea selection. You see, you have gathered ideas through various informations. Now, you have generated various ideas. It's time for you to now select an ideas which will be ideal to solving the problem. Evaluate the possibilities. This is by evaluating the collection of ideas and possible solutions and approaches. What possible solutions, either individually or in conjunction with each other, will solve this problem? That's the question you're asking now. An important thing to remember here is not to get fixated on the single solution idea. You might also want to set up Plan B, a possible solution approach that can be implemented if your main plan does not work. So, in your evaluation, do not focus on choosing just one solution and tossing the others away. Choose the solution or solutions. Select one or more solutions to try. In the evaluation state, you should establish some rank ordering. Choose from among those near the top of the list. Note that the very top ranked solution is not always the one to get chosen for implementation. Allow others to see and criticize your selected solution and to make suggestions for improvement or even alternatives. Strangers and close friends will quickly point out absurdities and weaknesses, but that is good because you will have a chance to improve your solution idea before attempting to implement it. Okay? Now, the 8th point we're looking at is implementation. Now you have chosen the idea or ideas that you feel can work. It's time to implement it. Try the solution out. And the real test of an idea is to try it out. The key concept here is action. Get going and begin the solution. Once you choose a solution path, get to work on it. Do not worry if objections or problems remain. Start working. You see, I love what Samuel Johnson said. He said, if all possible objections to a proposal must first be overcome, nothing will ever be attempted. Let me say that again by Samuel Johnson. He said, if all possible objections to a proposal must first be overcome, nothing will ever be attempted. In other words, attempt to solve that problem. Put the idea to work. Stop waiting. Act. Make adjustments or changes as needed during the implementation. Remain flexible in this application phase. Practically every solution needs some modification in the process of being put into effect. Do not expect that your solution will be exactly as you originally proposed. Let me say that again. Do not expect that your solution will be exactly as originally proposed. You see, always bear in mind that the goal is to solve the problem, not mindlessly to implement the solution exactly as proposed. The goal is to solve the problem, not just to implement the solution as proposed. Like I said, do not expect that your solution will be exactly as you originally proposed. All right, the last point we're looking at is evaluation. Evaluation. Investigate to determine whether the solutions or the solution has worked and to what extent it has worked. You have to investigate and check. Okay? Do modification need to be made? That's the question you're asking now. Do I need to make some modification to these implemented ideas? One of the most frequent failures of problem solving is the lack of evaluation of the implemented solution. Staying around long enough to evaluate the solution's effectiveness is an important part of problem solving. So don't just solve the problem by implementing the idea. Evaluate the ideas that you have implemented, whether it has worked. Check and see whether that idea worked. Evaluate it and make sure you document your evaluation so that you can implement such, or it will serve as a guide to solving other problems in the nearest future. This is important. That is the job of business leaders. Business leaders solve problems. We exist to solve problems. The reason why problem exists is because solution needs to be provided, and you are a solution provider. Like I said again, you are a solution provider. And the reason why we're talking about dreaming big and succeed is that when you dream big, you develop solutions to people's problems. Thank you very much for joining today. Till I come your way again in my next broadcast. Don't forget to dream big and succeed. Share.